Alright, what's up everyone, I'm Filoki, and before this video starts, I just want to thank everyone for all the support that I got on my last 3 videos. My Seahawks draft videos have done insanely well compared to all my other videos, and although my channel is mainly focused on video games and stuff like that, I really did enjoy making the NFL content, although it was pretty lackluster and I could have done a much better job. It was my first videos of the sort, and I did enjoy making them, so I'll continue to try to make NFL, especially Seahawks content up until the time when the season starts. Then it'll be much easier to make content on it, but I'll try to get something at least weekly when it comes to NFL content. But to get into the video, the question at hand is, will Russell Wilson survive next season? It's a loaded question. It is a really loaded question, especially taking into coronavirus, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when it comes to taking hits and getting injured. This video was made based off of a point from Ramos999 in the comments of the Seahawks Day 3 draft video, so shout out to him. I thought his comment was very interesting. I thought it was a good talking point, so I decided to do more research, put together a little estimation of how much damage Russell Wilson really takes in a season, and just see what are the chances that he survives next season, in a lack of better terms. So Russell Wilson hasn't missed a game in his career. Ever since he was drafted at 75th overall in 2012, he's played all 16 games of every season of his career, including 15 postseason games. That's 143 total games in his career so far, with no injuries. Russell Wilson has been sacked 40 or more times in every season since his rookie year, with 51 in 2018 and 48 in 2019. Russ has taken quite the punishment throughout his career, but those sacks are only a part of the equation. Russell Wilson has been sacked a total of 347 times throughout his 128 regular season games and 44 times in his 15 playoff games, which is a lot more than most quarterbacks, but he's also a mobile quarterback. He's rushed a total of 799 times in his career. This includes the regular season and the playoffs, but Russ is very good at not taking unnecessary hits, but he takes hits a fair amount of the time. Let's say out of his almost 800 rushing attempts that he's been hit 500 times. This may be too low or too high. It's just a rough estimate, but it'll also take into account the hits that he takes after throwing the ball, because that happens to everyone. So taking these numbers, a rough estimate of how many times Russell Wilson has been hit so far in his career would be around 900 times. With him playing 8 seasons so far, he'd be getting hit around 110 times a season. That's more than Devin Bush had last season with 109 tackles in 2019, which put him at number 30 in tackles for that year. If one person was responsible for every hit put onto Russell Wilson in a season, he'd be top 30 in tackles, and it's just crazy to think about that. Anyone who watches Seahawks games will be able to tell you that Russ takes quite a bit of hits throughout the season, but over 100 is a lot for any quarterback, and it's just kind of crazy to think about. For comparison, Tom Brady's most sacked season, 2003, which was his second year, I believe, he was sacked 41 times, and he rushed the ball a total of 42 times. This means that if he was hit every single time he ran the ball, which he most likely wasn't, he would still only be at 83 total hits in his worst season. Even if he did get hit 15 times after throwing the ball as well in that season, he'd still be less than 100 times hit in that season. So although the comparison is a little out there because of the difference of play styles, it shows how big of a difference there is between two of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. Quarterbacks are now protected more than ever in the NFL, and the NFL is actually continuing to push for protection of its star quarterbacks because it is what makes them the most money. The Seahawks have also made some moves to protect their star quarterback with 9 new offensive line acquisitions this offseason through free agency and the draft. Unfortunately, DJ Fluker and Justin Britt were released on the 27th of April, so 2 of our starters from the recent years were cut to clear up cap space, and most likely due because of their injuries. Jermaine Ifedi was also lost in free agency, but honestly, I don't think most Seahawks fans are too hurt by this. Duane Brown and Joey Hunt are still here from last season, but Hunt could likely see his starting spot at center taken by BJ Finney. Mike Upati and Damian Lewis could potentially be the starters at the guard spots, with Duane Brown and Brandon Shell most likely being the starters at the tackle spots. So overall, there have been some big changes to the offensive line, and if it actually ends up being what I somewhat expect it to be, there would be a total of 3 new starters on the offensive line at the minimum. To wrap up the video, I believe that the Seahawks front office has finally started to realize that Russell Wilson will not be able to continue taking the sacks that he has been into his 30s, so they've made changes to try to help him. The NFL's push for protecting quarterbacks and the fact that the Seahawks have built an arguably better offensive line than Russ has had in the past few years, or arguably his whole career, will likely extend his career, but The Seahawks have put everything on Russell Wilson staying healthy. Without picking up a backup in the draft or free agency, the Seahawks could only pick up an undrafted free agent quarterback in Anthony Gordon. Although he'll likely be fine to step in for any games they would need to, the hope is that he won't need to at all. There's no way to know what will happen next season, but I think every Seahawks fan needs to continue to pray for Russell Wilson to stay healthy like he has been, because an injury would ruin any season for the Seahawks. Hopefully this video won't end up jinxing anything to happen, but really Russell Wilson, he's done very good at staying healthy in his career. He hasn't missed a game, and it's really helped us. Like, we really have never been in a rebuilding stage as the Seahawks, because Russell Wilson always finds a way to get us wins. I don't think he's been below 10 wins in any season of his career, so it just shows how much of a winner he is and how much he helps this organization just in general. And with that, I'd like to thank you for watching this video. Hopefully you found this interesting, because I did find it interesting when Ramos ended up commenting on the video, bringing up the point. I thought it was a very interesting topic, and I decided to look into it more and see how Russell Wilson compares to every quarterback in the league. And although the comparison I could have done could have been better, but Lamar Jackson, I didn't want to include him because he's such a different style of quarterback when it comes to the NFL. But maybe if we talk about this later on, maybe Lamar Jackson will be brought up because he'll have normalized that style, but I don't know, we'll see. But I'll try to keep up the football content at least once a week until the season starts, but it'll be difficult. I'll probably run out of topics unless something ends up happening, but most likely nothing will really happen from now to the start of the season, so hopefully I'll be able to keep this football content pushing out. But yeah, once again, I'd like to thank you for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and yeah, have a good day.